Hey everyone, and welcome to the Sauce Labs webinar, Test Manually in the Cloud with Sauce Scout. My name is Ashley Wilson, and I will be moderating for the next hour. Just a couple of things before we get going. We will be having a Q&A session at the end. So if you'd like to write in your questions as they come along, you can do so on your control panel, and we'll just take them as they come. So now I'd like to pass it over to Sean McQuillan. He is a senior developer and the Scout project lead.
Thanks, Ashley.
Let's give you organizer. All right.
Thank you, Ashley. Go ahead and get the slideshow started. So we're just going to go over sort of a product overview of Scout and what you can do with it, and show you how you're going to use it to help you do manually QA. So Scout has, it's a little bit different than sort of running VMs on your local machine or having an EC2 presence. So one of the main features of Scout is we instantly allocate machines for you, which gives you more fluidity for what sort of your testing resources are. We don't have anything to download, right? So you don't have to get, in comparison to like VMware, where you have to like set up a big Windows setup on your local machine, or EC2, where you have to deal with like the EC2 tools. Everything on our side is completely browser-based and zero configuration. We record a video and screenshots automatically for you. So if you, if you're clicking around and you find a bug that sort of involves a fairly long chain of interactions to reproduce, you can send a developer an exact reproduction case, and they can see everything that you did in the process to creating that.
Hey, Sean, are you
Hey,
sharing your screen?
I believe I am.
There we go. Now we can see it.
Okay, let me try
thanks.
again. Can you see it now?
No, it just goes away. It's fine when you have it as your, yeah, right, just like that.
Oh, okay. All right, this will be interesting. So it has firewall support. Let me see what I can do here. So it'll work behind, if your web application is behind a firewall, Sauce Scout will, you can use Sauce Connect to set up a connection between our servers and your server, and it'll automatically use that to navigate while you're browsing in the Scout browsers. And sort of an interesting one that happens using a cloud resource is we can start tracking your usage by time. And we'll see later in this presentation that leads to sort of interesting results when you start looking at how much is it costing me to support each browser. And then, of course, Sauce Scout is for finding bugs, but you already have a bug tracker. So it does do secure embedding that lets you put any of the assets, the video and the screenshot, into your own bug tracker. So now I have a demo, which was supposed to be an inline video, but that's not going to happen here. So let me see if I can, what I can do here. Oh, it plays anyway. Sorry about that. If I double click, there we go. So this is the Sauce Labs webpage. This is where you'll basically be, all of your interactions with Sauce Scout will be through the Sauce Labs webpage. So we just go ahead and log in. And I have sort of a demo account that I created for this. So this is your account page that you get to at Sauce Labs. If those of you who don't have accounts haven't seen this yet, if you create an account today, you'll get put into this jumpstart. So I'll start there for the first demonstration here. And so Sauce Labs has a whole lot of products. As you can see, we support basically every programming language for our automated tool set. We also support Selenium Builder, which is sort of the new Selenium IDE, and Sauce Builder, which is our version of the same product. Sauce Builder is a product developed by Adam Christian here, and it's basically an advanced report playback tool that allows you to sort of make the transition away from full manual to manual plus some automation to help you out. And Scout is a product that helps you do manual testing in the cloud. And so let's go ahead and look at the Scout documentation in Jumpstart. And well, there's not much to it, so we'll go ahead and click the link. So Scout supports all of these browsers. So you can see we have Chrome, all the major versions of Internet Explorer, and then all the Safaris going back to Safari 3, all 3 versions of Opera, and every major version of Firefox on Windows, and then Firefox 3 and 3.6 on Linux. So we'll go ahead and launch an IE9 instance. And you'll see when I do this how fast our allocations are. And this is sort of something that we focused really heavily on because we believe that if the allocations take time, then you're just sitting there wasting time. So it's already done. It's just setting up the VNC session now. So you control Scout sort of as if you're VNC'd into a machine that you control, and you just click around, type, and everything works exactly as it would on a local instance of IE9. All right, so the point of Scout really is to find bugs, and it turns out there's actually a bug on the home page for in IE9 right now. We have a typekit font replacement for that, main H1, and it looks like it's not working in IE9. So to create a bug, you just hit the take a snapshot button in Sauce Scout. And that's going to ask you for, just some basic information so that it can display, informative stuff around the video and the screenshot. So when I click save, it'll take me back to my session, which is still ongoing, and I can continue recording my video and take more snapshots as I find new bugs. One interesting note, sort of as a preventative measure against leaving a session idle all day and just leaving the clock running, we do limit sessions to 20 minutes. So as you can see, I'm just typing, and those of you who know Selenium will be interested to note that I'm sort of skipping around all these domains, and everything is still working. Oh, it looks like Twitter's not going to load for me. So I'll play with that for a second, see if I can get Twitter to launch an IE9. I'm not sure what's up with that. Looks like it's not going to. So I'll go ahead and just, kind of jokingly make a bug here. I'm showing that I can make 2 bugs inside the same session. And then when I'm done with the session, you can click I'm done, or if you leave the browser window, it will it'll time it out after like 90 seconds. So sort of at this point, we can look at the bugs page and see those bugs that we just filed, or we could launch another browser if we want to just run through our matrix real quick and check out all the browsers. This is the place to go. So let's go ahead and take a look at the bugs section of Sauce Scout. Right. So up here. So here we can get to some actions related to Sauce Scout. View My Bugs is the one we're going to look at right now. And this is just a list of bugs that have been reported from inside of sessions. And I'm going to look at that one we just reported about the typekit. And you can see that there's, a screenshot got taken the moment that I reported the bug. And then there's also this video that was being recorded the entire time that I was navigating through the website. And so this is a video of the entire session. So we'll see all of the path up to the bug being found, which in more complicated bugs than this is, really a lifesaver. All right. So let's show sort of how you navigate through the Scout product real quick. In the masthead, we have two actions. You can launch a browser, you can view your bugs, or you can go straight to the documentation. The documentation is relatively new. Appreciate feedback on that if you guys find that it's lacking in some ways. And then, of course, on your account page, we have this broken down by product. And Sauce Scout has, the launch a browser. You can view the bugs and go to the docs from the account page as well. So that brings us to sort of that interesting step where that brings us to the interesting part where we can do the tracking time by browser. And so this is the dashboard. It's a new product or a new feature that we've released, which sort of does a bunch of metrics on the tests that you've run. But the really, really interesting one for Sauce Scout users is the breakdown by browser minutes. And you can see here, this is my browser minutes for my personal account, actually. So let's show you how to use the dashboard. So on your account page, there's a usage info, and that's a link to the dashboard. And it's a breakdown of all of your testing minutes over the last month or previous months, sort of looking at one of two different ways. There's either pass rates, which for Scout users isn't going to be that big of a deal. Scout doesn't set pass or fail on a session. Sessions are just to find bugs. They aren't actually running some sort of test that's structured. But if you do run automated tests, these will get filled out for you. And so we have, by browser and then by sub account. And then on the other tab, we have by minutes, and this is really interesting data for Scout users. So we can see the total minutes by day and sort of get an idea of, what's going on with our, our usage. We can do minutes by browser, and this is a fantastic number. So we can see that I've been doing some testing in Safari 3 and Opera 9, but almost all of my testing, and this is of the Sauce Labs website, is on IE6. And so that's where I'm spending all of my browser time. And then sub-accounts, I don't have any on my account, but if you had a sub-account, it would show a breakdown of usage by sub-accounts here. So let's go ahead and talk about the embedding. So one of the goals with Scout was to create assets for your internal use, right? So we do a great job of taking videos and screenshots. And those are great, but they're on the Sauce Labs website, and you're probably using Jira or some other bug tracker to manage, your internal ticket tracking, and you're going to want to share these assets with people who may not even have Sauce Labs logins. And so we sort of sat down and made sure we had a secure and robust embedding system in place. So let's look at how to use that. So let's go back to our bugs. And in this demonstration here, I'm going to create a Jira ticket from the type get broken in IE9 bug that we've been looking at. So let's go ahead and switch over to a Jira here, and then I just have to create a basic summary of what's going on the Jira side, and this is where the actual bug is going to be tracked. And then when I get to the description, I'm going to need to link to that Sauce Labs bug, but I want to make it login free. So there's sort of, oh, wait a second. All right. So there's two links to all of the assets that are available. There's a permalink and there's an embed link. And the permalink is login required, and that's sort of what you would, what you're looking at when you go to any of the assets and you're a logged in user. And then there's the embed link, and those have a secure auth token associated with them, and those are based on, by job and also by, some metadata on your account. One of those pieces is changeable. It's your access key. So you're able to change, change the authentication at any time and revoke access to previous links if you need to do that. So now that I've created this, this Jira bug, we can see that all of these links are in there. The screenshot is pulled from Sauce Labs' website over into Jira, and this is going to work for anyone, even for people who aren't logged in or don't have a Sauce Labs access. And it's going to show the actual bug, as it was inside of Jira. And then, of course, there's the video link on the bottom. So let's go ahead and start doing that. The video link has this auth token on it because I grabbed the embed link. So I'll be able to click that even if I'm not logged in. And I'm going to show you sort of the different cases here that you could do this embed link. So this first case, I'm still logged in to the Scout webinar user. And you can see that, the video, the screenshots, all of this is loading exactly as you would expect. So then let's go ahead and log out. And we can see that we're logged out now. And let's follow this same link. And this is going to be the behavior that some random coworker of yours would have if they followed this link. And you can see that all the assets load. However, you can see up here on the top that they're not logged in and they couldn't, actually use your testing minutes to run tests. So it's a safe way to share your assets with Sauce Labs without having to give your account to everyone, on your team. So let's log in and demonstrate how to, revoke access to a Scout asset. So there's an API key on your account page, and so we're going to go ahead and change that. And there's this, this scary warning saying that, if you change your API key, all of your API integrations will change. And so that's what's going to happen here, and that's sort of the goal of what we're doing. So let's go ahead and change our access key. All right, so that's done. Now let's log out and check that link in Jira again. And we'll see that it gets 404 instead of loading the content. So this is sort of, a nice, safe way to share your the assets that are generated on Sauce Labs with, the rest of your team or people outside of your company. So just sort of a brief note here at the end before Q&A. Sauce Scout does work with Sauce Connect, and Sauce Connect basically establishes a connection from our servers to your website, even if there's a firewall in between. And you can learn more about that at http://saucelabs.com/docs/sauce-connect. And that's one of our core products, but it does work with Sauce Scout. So with that, I'll go ahead and switch to Q&A.
All right, thank you, Sean. Well, the first question I can answer because it's, is this being recorded? And the answer is yes. We do record all of our webinars, so we will get this up on our website early next week, and it'll be up on the Sauce Scout page as well. All right, so the first question, Sean, do you have XP, Windows 7, or Mac? Does Sauce offer that?
Right, so our official answer for this is that we use Windows 2003, though there's a little bit of a miscommunication on this webpage right now because IE9 and Firefox 4 are both running on Windows Server, I believe it's 2007, because That's the only one from the Windows 7 family that can be virtualized. So that's the answer there. And then all of the other, Chrome, IE 6 through 8, and the other browsers are all running on Windows 2003.
Okay. Let's see. Can you have two different browsers open side by side in Scout? Example, you have IE 9 open. Could you then open Firefox 4 to compare side by side?
You can, not in the, sort of the Happy Path UI, but there's nothing stopping you from opening two windows and going to Scout in both windows. And in fact, I do that regularly while I'm debugging our website.
Okay. Are users of Sauce Scout billed for test video playback time?
Playback time, no. Playback time is not billed. The billing that we have is from the time when your machine becomes allocated to you. Then there's a short period of setup, usually in the terms of we're talking 5 to 30 seconds, depending on the browser. Then the test starts. That's when the VNC session logs in on Scout. And at that period, you have control over the machine. And then at the end of the test, after you click I'm done, there's a short window where we have to transcode the video for the web, and you get billed for that period too. And then at that point, you're no longer billed.
Okay. Another question, is Firebug installed on the Firefox browsers?
It is not currently, but that is one of our top things to do.
Great. Is there an integration with TestLink?
No.
Okay. What about, does the subscription to the service come with a Jira license?
The subscription to Sauce Scout, so I didn't cover plans in this. We do have a free plan that gets you 200 minutes or about 3 hours of Scout usage a month. And we don't have any integration with Jira at this point. So there's no license involved there. If you do have Jira set up on your own side, then you can use it like I demonstrated in this presentation.
Okay. Does the 20 minutes timeout start at the beginning of the session or once interactivity stops?
I'm not sure I understand that question, but so I can sort of explain. It starts at the beginning of the session, so it's from the beginning. If it goes for 20 minutes, at that point, the session will start shutting down. And the goal of that really is to protect you, because there's 3 hours a month of free testing plans, so you wouldn't want to just leave the session idle all day because you burn through those very fast.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do the tests run successfully on dev sites with self-sign certificates?
They should, is the correct answer. I believe there's an issue with Safari 4 right now with self-sign certificates. And all of that gets down into the depths of, the actual Selenium implementation of proxying. If that's not working, emailing help@saucelabs.com would be the right course of action.
Okay. Sean, would you suggest making a local copy of the recorded videos?
Yeah, you can download all of the videos. Let me just show you how to do that. Can you see my screen right now?
Yep.
Okay. So if I go to, my bugs, and then I look at this one that we've been sort of looking at this entire time. Over here, there's a session link, and this takes me to sort of the backing, on-demand job that ran for this test. And there's a download for the video right here. And so if you want the videos sort of to persist, or you want them on your side for some reason, we do support downloading and that's how you would do it. You can also, it's fairly easy to programmatically generate this, and we cover that in our documentation if you want to set up sort of an API level integration.
All right. Why do we not support Firefox 4 on Linux? Did you hear that,
I'm
Sean?
not actually sure I have an answer to that one. I believe there was some sort of difficulty getting it set up, and we didn't really have very much customer demand for it, so we pulled that project. If you were interested in something like that, a good place to go would be our forums, and you can sort of register your interest in it there, and we do evaluate that, and it determines where we allocate our dev resources.
Okay, one of the attendees has a pricing question. If someone connects to a browser then gets called away, are they charged the full 20 minutes, or is the pricing just based on usage?
It's however long the machine is allocated for you. So in that case, the machine would be allocated for 20 minutes, so you would be charged for that. It's sort of, you can think of it as getting cloud machines in a very, very on-demand, fluid way.
Great. Let's see. Here's another question. When you have the choice to test on another browser or OS, should you do it manually again, or does it play back the first test made inside the new specific setup?
This is a manual testing tool, so this supports at the moment manual control of the browsers. So that when you do the second test, that's just a link to help you launch another browser quickly. And then you would control it manually just like you did the first browser.
Okay. Do you have any idea on Mac support in the cloud?
It's something that we have on our radar, but I don't know if I can give you any more specifics than that.
Okay. Can you install plugins into the browser?
Yes, you can. Though you only have 20 minutes to use them. I'll sort of repeat that one of the things we have high on our list of priorities for Soft Scout is, adding Firebug and, the Internet Explorer debug toolbar, the basic plugins that people sort of expect to come with browsers. So that's something we have high on our list of things to do here at SoftStats.
Is there any way to include Selenium scripts with Scout?
So, you can run Selenium core scripts by navigating to a web page. So that would be one way to do this, but that was perhaps a way too technically accurate answer. The real answer is that Scout isn't integrated with our automated testing product. So it's really focused on manual testing. It's an interesting idea, and maybe feedback on the forums and start a discussion about what you're thinking of is the right way to take that one, and we can figure out what makes sense to implement as a product.
Okay. Can users test for more than 20 minutes?
Currently, it's a hard limit. We haven't had any users in our beta that were interested in increasing that. If that's something that turns out a lot of users want, then that's something we would consider and do that.
Okay. Are there plans to make the authorized token more granular? Otherwise, all link images and historical JIRA bugs will be invalid if you have to change the API key for some reason.
Right. So there's sort of two ways to go with that. The answer is yes. There's been discussion about making that more granular in the sense that you could invalidate a single job. The answer for whether we could make the auth tokens not depend on API key, the answer is probably no, because that's sort of the general security for your account is your API key. That's sort of your public secret.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Are the machines in Sauce Scout in AWS or our own data centers?
These machines are on the West Coast, and they're in our own data center.
Okay. Is there a way to copy and paste from a Scout browser window bug into a local app?
That is probably the most requested thing that we have. So there will be as soon as we can figure out how to.
Is it possible to automatically fetch Scout bugs through an API and then generate tickets for your developers in a scripted way?
For the answer to that, I would say go ahead and watch our blog for the next couple weeks. That's probably the right answer to get there.
Okay. Do the results report like soft assertions? Example, tests would not fail if one of the elements doesn't exist?
There's no assertions in the, so this is all controlled by the keyboard and mouse. So there's no assertions going on. The only, sort of from a technical perspective, the only actual API of Selenium being used from our infrastructure is to take a screenshot. And also for processing away the SSL certificates.
Mm-hmm.
So I would. The question really was about how to do sort of soft asserts, and the answer is that this is a manual product, so you have to visually determine things with your eyes.
Will Sauce Scout have mobile support anytime in the future?
Mobile is something that we're very interested in, and we're keeping our eye on it.
All right. Can manual tests be rerun automatically?
Unfortunately, not right now. The control is entirely DNC, so there's no good way to replay it at a browser level right now.
Okay. Can users test Java applets with Scout?
Yes.
Okay.
We do support Flash out of the box, and off the top of my head, I cannot recall if we have Java installed, but I'm sure we do in most of the browsers. And you would be able to install it inside of that 20-minute window if you needed to for a one-off thing.
Okay. If a user downloads a video, is it optimized to reduce size but retain the quality?
Yeah, our videos are pretty optimized. If you want to make them smaller, you can definitely re-encode them with some quality loss.
Okay. So does Sauce Scout generate a report pointing out rendering issues or JavaScript errors, or do you have to just eyeball each test?
You'll have to eyeball each test.
Is that how it's going to be in the future as well?
I can't commit to the future product there. That's an interesting idea, though. The JavaScript thing is definitely something that could be looked for. As for rendering issues, that's a more complicated topic, but something could be done there. The JavaScript one's a very interesting idea.
Okay. And so you talked about revoking your authentication key. Do you have to do that for each session, or is that all the sessions that are in the account? How does that work?
So changing your API key will change all of the access to your account. That's the way we validate you whenever you use our service programmatically, including through Sauce Scout.
Okay. So we know that you can run, one 20-minute session. Could you run multiple of those at the same time?
Yeah, totally. So when I'm debugging, our web page CSS, I pretty much always have all four, Internet Explorer is open on my desktop. Um, so that's definitely something that can be done.
Is that what you were showing where it was within the same session? Is that worth demonstrating to people, or is it pretty self-explanatory how to like fire back up another session?
Well, I can, I guess, show you real quick. So uh, right. So if I want an IE7 window, and I can go, in another tab, I can launch an IE8 window, and both of these are going to run on different machines.
Mm-hmm.
So here's IE7. I'll just take them to different web pages so that you can see the difference, and then IE8 is still launching. Thanks. And here's an IE8 window. So yeah, you can totally run multiple sessions at the same time, just like that.
Okay. So once the 20 minutes are up and someone wants to keep testing, what should they do?
If this is something that's coming up a lot, go ahead and email us or start a forum topic, and we can play with that if that's something that's becoming a problem. Our experience is that most Scout tests are 7 minutes or less, and one of the things about that is the video that you record, if it's too long, it kind of becomes not useful. So a lot of people will do like a 5 to 7 minutes worth of testing, and then they'll start another session, and if they want to test a different thing, they'll do about the same chunk of time. But if our understanding of the use case there is completely wrong, let us know, and we can. It's just a number, we can change it or come up with a UX for extending the session.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And we have a question about pricing. I think that you showed off the pricing page, but just so people are clear, the pricing for Sauce Scout is the same as the pricing for On Demand.
That is correct, yes. So everything on this pricing page here is in fact accurate. So, there's the individual 200 minutes a month free, and then, from there we go up through small team through Commercial Plus. So, yeah.
Okay.
And those are the same rates for Sauce Scout.
Okay. So for each session, is it a clean session in terms of cookies and autosave data, etc.?
Yeah, it's actually a new operating system. So we restart the OS between sessions. So everything is completely clean.
Okay. So why do the manual tests in Scout show up in the Selenium test list? Thinking he's maybe talking about the jobs?
Yeah. So in the background, and this is sort of like technical details. Sauce Scout jobs are actually Selenium tests, with sort of you're manually controlling the browser, but there is some Selenium interaction going on there. So you'll be able to see there's a couple commands that get run in order to make the Sauce Scout job happen. Those show up there because they are on-demand jobs, and that's sort of like to make it so you can go find I've been running manual tests on your on-demand jobs page if that's something you're interested in finding
out. Okay. So if users make changes to their browser session or browser settings during a session, are those kept for subsequent sessions, or do they get reset each time?
They get reset each time.
Okay.
That's a great example of something that we would a discussion on our forums would be fantastic there if that's something that a lot of people are interested in.
Okay. Do the browsers have Flash support?
They do, yes. I believe it's Flash 10 off the top of my head, but I'm not exactly certain.
Okay. And so in terms of the video, do you get a video per session, or is it for each browser that is launched?
So a session is a browser launch. So when I do So when I click on a browser and launch it, that's going to establish the session. So right now I'm creating an Internet Explorer 7 session. You can see sort of the session ID up here. And then inside of a session, you can make multiple bugs, and all of those are associated with the same session. So you get one video per session, which is the same thing as per browser launch, right? So this is, if I go ahead and then create 2 bugs, over in the bugs page, both of those get created, and if we look at the sessions down at the bottom, we'll see that they're on the same session, right? So it's 0535A, and then here it's also 0535A. So yeah, so multiple bugs can be associated with the same session, and the session is the same thing as a browser launch.
Okay. And just to clarify on the pricing, someone brought up a good point about wondering about concurrent tests. You know, in Sauce on Demand, we have that, so the free account gets you 2 concurrent tests. How does that work with Sauce Scout?
The exact same way. So the concurrency limits are going to apply, and exactly the same way for Sauce Scout as they do for Sauce on Demand.
Okay.
And you can find those on the pricing page that we looked at just a minute ago. So 2 for 1632.
Great. So what about testing file uploads? Is there an easy way to connect test files to the Scout session?
So you can, the way that the sort of interesting question. So the best way I would say to go investigating that, and it's not one of the main use cases we've focused on, would be to go ahead and download the file. You can do that onto the local file system there, and then you can navigate to the upload file dialog and upload the file from the local file system.
Okay. So actually, I think this is our last question, but it's a request to show an example of a manual test on a site that has Java that's in Firefox 6 on Linux.
Okay. I don't know a site that has Java off the top of my head.
Let's see. Whoever asked that question, do you want to write in a suggestion of a site? There we go. Okay. www.screener, so SCREENR.com.
Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It looks like the window manager crashed on Linux.
Oh.
But we can still do this. So this is going to be a flash video. Oh, here you go. I'm not sure this is going to work, but whoever asked that question, if you wanted to, no Java detected. Yeah, if you wanted to follow up with, a conversation with help@saucelabs.com, that's That's a perfectly good question for there. And we can take a look at supporting Java. There's been a lot of interest in Java in this crowd. So yeah, that's definitely something we can look at.
Okay. Okay, two more just came in. We addressed, Sean addressed this a little bit, but someone is wondering if you can talk any more about possible integration plans with other trackers.
Right. So I don't want to really go into that too much, but it's something that we're very interested in making sort of zero effort integrations work. I think that's what I want to say at this point. And then sort of if you follow us on Twitter, you'll find out about it when we release stuff.
Yes, stay tuned. And yeah, same with just again, a couple users are just wondering if this is the complete list of browsers that we do currently support at this time.
Yeah, that is correct. So Scout can launch all of our browsers, and yeah, this is our complete list of browsers.
So I think that that's all the questions that we have. Thanks so much, everyone, for attending and asking such thoughtful questions. Like I said, this is going to be recorded and it will be posted up on the Sauce Scout page and on our blog and Twitter early next week. So stay tuned. And thanks so much. If you have any further questions, like Sean said, just either contribute to our forums or write into help@saucelabs.com. All of our developers, actually pretty much our whole company, sees those email messages. So someone will get back to you. And it may actually be Sean talking about Sauce Scout. So thanks so much, everyone.